Hello guys. I thought today I'd make a quick video telling you some of my modelling plans for 2024. Now I'm very aware that at the end of 2021 I made a similar video with my plans for 2022 and most of those I didn't follow through on. So last year I didn't make a video like this. This year I am making a video, but I'm deliberately sort of toning down my ambitions a little bit. But anyway, here are some projects that I hope to complete in 2024. I'll start with projects that I've already started and just need to finish. And the first of those is my farmyard maintenance diorama with the Stug and the Panther. This is how you last saw this project in my most recent video about it. The vehicles are painted, the basics of the buildings are there. There's a lot of work that needs doing. I've got lots of accessories and figures that need painting and building and cleaning up a little bit. But as this is one of the biggest dioramas I've ever built, I really do want to push this one over the finish line. And if you remember, the plan is to have some maintenance crews here converting these vehicles into ersatz vehicles. So converting the Stug into an American M7 lookalike, primarily by painting it olive drab, and converting the Panther into an M10 lookalike by adding some custom steel parts around the turret and the side. This of course is based on a real mission to infiltrate American lines in the Ardennes in 1944. Next up, I recently built my Trumpeter 1/35th scale LCM3 and painted it in British colours. I have been working on a small-ish diorama for this. I've got a couple of custom 3D printed figures, and I really need now just to finish this off. It's about 80% finished, I would say. I just need to do some weathering on the diorama itself. Again, a large part of this is filmed. It just needs to be finished off and edited. So hopefully fairly soon in 2024 I will get around to that. And my final ongoing project, which I need to get finished, and which might take a bit longer than the others, is of course the Prince of Wales. I built this recently. I showed you me putting the initial photo etch railings on it at the end of the video, and to be honest with you, I haven't worked on it since. I need to get the motivation up to get that photo etch on. It's quite fiddly. I need to do really a little bit every day, I think, and just get it through it that way. And then of course it needs painting and weathering. Sadly, this kit was featured in my 2021 video as a project for 2022, so when this will get finished, I don't know. Next up is something which you voted for in a poll recently, which is this Mini Art 1/35th scale repair wagon. This is a Russian vehicle, I believe, which has been captured by the Germans and repurposed into a repair wagon. I am really keen to build this. I know it's going to be quite fiddly with all the very fine parts that Mini Art tends to have on these things. For example, I know that engine's going to have dozens of parts and then be covered up completely by the hood, the bonnet. But I do like the fact that Mini Art give you lots and lots of extra sprues to really make this busy. So, I mean, you can see on the box art illustration there, I've got lots of jerry cans, different types of jerry cans, oil drums, sacks, tools, compressors, gas tanks, things like this, which are really going to make it look busy and genuinely used. So I'm really looking forward to that. That is going to be the first kit that I start to build in 2024. Still on the German military, and this Grasshopper was reviewed in a recent video that I did. A very unusual vehicle, only a few prototypes made. I've had this kit in my stash for a while now, and I think it's going to look good, perhaps with the turret on the trailer behind it. I'm not quite sure what yet, but I'm going to start having a look at building this again in early 2024. I might even see if there's an interior kit that I can get. This is classed as a Panzer IV chassis. So that I can have the turret on the trailer, but you can see something inside in the fighting compartment. So we'll see about that. Staying on the ground, but moving back a little bit, I really want to build this Meng Mark V tank. This has a full interior, including the engine. I've built a Mark 1 before from Tacom. It's one of the first models I built when I got back into the hobby. But I'm really looking forward to building this one, and perhaps somehow leaving the interior open. Either leaving one of the sponsons off, because they could be detached for rail transport, or doing perhaps a cutaway museum exhibit style presentation. Moving into the air, and many of you, if you're regular viewers, will know that I'm a Lancaster fan, and that I picked up this Manchester conversion set for the Airfix Lancaster back at Telford in November. The conversion kit looks great, so I'm keen to get stuck into that as soon as possible. On the subject of Lancasters, I have never built a Dambusters Lancaster, and as it happens, I've got both the Revell Dambusters and the Airfix Dambusters versions. And for the Revell version, I have got a 3D printed part to convert it into the Grand Slam capable Lancaster. Essentially, that's just a slightly different bomb bay and the Grand Slam bomb itself. So I might even do a dual build of that, where I build the two kits side by side, comparing Revell versus Airfix in terms of their kit quality, but then convert that Revell one into the Grand Slam Lancaster. A couple of other aircraft kits, and I've got this Eduard Hellcat Mark 1/2 dual combo Profi pack, but I've also got this Hellcat Mark 1 weekend edition. So I've got 3 Eduard Hellcats, and I thought they might make quite a nice triple build. That'll let me compare the detail of the weekend version versus the Profi pack, but also to do 3 different colour schemes for the aircraft. So you can see here, for example, this is the weekend edition instructions, and we've got 2 schemes, both in the Fleet Air Arm scheme of extra dark sea grey and slate green, or dark slate green. The differences here being the D-Day stripes on the option B, and of course the size of the roundels there, with the Far East style roundels on the option A scheme. If we look at the Profi pack instructions, we've got scheme A, which is Fleet Air Arm scheme, but with the roundels including the red and no D-Day stripes. Then the B and C schemes. Scheme B is very similar to the scheme we saw in the weekend edition, and scheme C is the same scheme that we saw in the weekend edition. But then as we turn the page, we've got a bit more variation. Scheme D has got some almost American style roundels there. They are British roundels, but they've got that extra bar there. So I thought that might be quite an interesting scheme to do. And then some real variation on the right hand side here with scheme E, which is an overall blue scheme, with again those Far East roundels without the red. And some unusual white stripes there as well on the wings and the tailplane. Then finally over the page again, and we've got another overall blue scheme, and again with the large roundels with the bars on them. So plenty to choose from there. I'm definitely going to do at least one of the blue schemes. And then of the Fleet Air Arm schemes, we've got the roundels with bars, we've got the small Far Eastern roundels, or the regular standard roundels including the red, with and without D-Day invasion stripes. So I've got to pick any 3 from those basically. But I think that could be quite a fun triple build. But now the one that I've been waiting for, and this is probably going to be my big project of 2024, certainly the first half of it. I managed to catch myself a wings kit. I'd never been taken with these kits to the extent that I'd pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars for them or anything like that, but I found this recently on Andy's Hobby Headquarters during their Black Friday sale, the DH9, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to have a crack at that. And yes, it really is a beautiful kit. As you can see here on the box art, we've got 5 different schemes, at least 2 of which are already fighting for choice in my mind. It's a 2014 kit, so nearly a decade old now. But it is lovely inside as well. The instruction manual really is like a book in terms of the amount of detail it gives you and the quality. As you can see, it's all in colour. It's actually a little bit cluttered possibly, but it does require a lot of study. Very clear diagrams of where parts are going, where they need to go, where they need to be added. Loads of photos of restored examples as well as original aircraft where possible. Lots and lots of really useful, really fine attention to detail here. I mean, look at the way this fuselage here, this cockpit is built up with all the framing around it. There we've got the engine, which looks like another kit. And of course the engine is exposed on a lot of these World War I aircraft as well. Then we move on to putting the fuselage together. This is definitely something that's going to need a lot of studying before building if I'm going to make the best of this kit. And look at these cool original photos too. We've even got a rigging guide here, and I think, to be honest, on a kit this scale I probably need to be doing the rigging, so I need to be reading up on that and just thinking about how I would go about doing that rigging. Let's have a quick look at the colour schemes. We've got this interesting PC10 khaki drab top side and CDL doped linen on the underside, with some vertical bars black and white on the rear section, and archive historic photos of that aircraft, which is pretty cool. Option B here, mainly overall PC10 with a white patch on the rear. And then a couple of colourful schemes coming up. So we've got this option C here, the red and white dazzle scheme. It does say in the instructions that they believe it's red and white, but they can't tell for sure. That's a really interesting scheme. And then over the page, I do like this scheme here, a sort of winter camouflage scheme on the top sides with these blue rays. It's a Greek scheme here on the undersides, obviously on the underside of the lower wing. Option E, another PC10 and CDL scheme. And then I really like this at the back here. I've got a couple of bonus schemes where they've just got a couple of archive photos, and it tells you, what they suspect the colour schemes are and so on, and which decals to apply if you want to do these. But these are not covered in artwork in the documentation itself. That's quite cool. And then finally, obviously it's quite hard to know what is going to be released in 2024. Most manufacturers have not announced their catalogues yet. But one thing I am looking forward to, I'm quite tempted to go for, I haven't pre-ordered it yet, is the Andy's Hobby Headquarters 1/16 scale Achilles. I really enjoyed building the Tamiya Achilles. I really liked the vehicle. I like the fact we've got that fighting compartment that's visible there. So I am quite tempted to make this my first ever 1/16 scale vehicle. To be honest, the only thing that puts me off is the current lack of availability of figures. And I find it a little bit odd that the kit includes just one figure, a commander figure, when obviously it was a crew of, what, 4 people, 5 people? Bit of a strange one that. It's almost worth having no figures and a slightly lower price than having just one figure. But I'm sure aftermarket suppliers will come out with figures for it in the near future. Anyway guys, those are my plans for 2024. Hopefully by scaling them back a little bit compared to my previous video like this, I'll be able to achieve more of these. Do let me know your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. What are you planning for next year? Any kits that you're looking for or hoping will be released? Anything you want to do different compared to last year? And just generally what's on your workbench? Do let me know. I want to thank all of you for watching, and all of you for your ongoing support during 2023. Special thanks to my YouTube members and Patreon supporters who have given extra support, not just this year but in previous years as well. It's massively appreciated. Thank you very much, guys. I wish all of you a very happy new year and a peaceful 2024. Thanks for watching, guys.